Did you know? Sometimes we're the ones destroying our own reputation without even realizing it. Not because of huge mistakes, but because of the little habits. The small, harmless things we repeat every single day until they quietly erode the respect others once had for us. Think about it. How many times have you gossiped about someone even by accident? How many times have you made a promise you didn't keep? How many times have you let your emotions take over only to regret it later? We often tell ourselves it's just a small thing, no big deal. But the truth is, it's exactly those small things that shape how people see us at work, at home, in every relationship. And today, I want to take you on a journey to uncover 7 toxic habits that silently sabotage your image, and more importantly, to discover how to break free from them. Because as Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, once said, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. This is not a dry moral lesson. This is an invitation to look straight at yourself with honesty, without excuses, without masks. Because only when we dare to face ourselves can we truly change. For many years, I fell into every single one of these traps. I thought talent alone, effort alone would earn respect. But reality was different. People don't just look at your achievements. They notice your actions, your reactions, the small choices you make every day. And from there, they decide, are you trustworthy? Are you worthy of respect? So if you want a stronger career, deeper relationships, and a lasting reputation, join me. These 7 habits will be a mirror showing you how you're really living. It might feel uncomfortable. You might even recognize yourself in them. But don't worry. That discomfort is a sign you're ready to change. And before we begin, let me say thank you. Thank you for every view, every comment, every share. Your support is the reason I keep going on this journey of growth awareness and building a community that lives by one philosophy: strength, integrity, and trust. Have you noticed? Respect never disappears by accident. It doesn't vanish like a sudden gust of wind. It's worn away bit, by small actions, by repeated mistakes, and often we're the ones swinging the hammer, slowly breaking the foundation of the respect we once had. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." It sounds simple, but it carries a powerful truth. Stop debating about role models. Stop comparing who's truly good. Start with your own actions. And Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, left us with this reminder. The greatest sign of wisdom is to see yourself with honesty, not judging others, not pointing out their flaws, but looking straight at ourselves, at our habits, at our reactions, at the things that seem harmless, but leave deep marks in the eyes of others. So in this part, I want to invite you to practice one thing: self-reflection. No masks, no excuses, just the courage to see yourself as you are. Together, we'll uncover 7 small but dangerous habits that quietly sabotage your image. And more importantly, we'll discover how to replace them with Stoic discipline. Ask yourself this: have you ever lost someone's respect and had no idea why? It probably wasn't one big mistake. It was the little things you overlooked, a promise you didn't keep, a careless word of gossip, a moment of impatience in conversation. Each of these adds up. And one day you realize the way people see you has changed. But here's the good news. Respect can be rebuilt through discipline, through integrity, through changing small habits one choice at a time. And that's the journey we're about to begin. The first toxic habit, and the one most people underestimate, is gossip. It sounds harmless, right? A little chit-chat over coffee, a few laughs in the office, a quick message about someone's private life. But here's the truth. Gossip is a silent poison. It slowly eats away at your image and the trust people once had in you. Remember this simple fact. Anyone who gossips with you will gossip about you. The moment you join in, whether out of boredom or just to fit in, you send a clear message: I can't be trusted. I can't keep a secret. I survive by feeding on other people's stories. And that message, sooner or later, it comes back to destroy the very respect you want. I still remember back in college. In my group of friends, there was a quiet girl, I'll call her Sarah. One day a rumor spread that she liked a guy in class. Within hours, the story was everywhere. It turned into a running joke. And Sarah, she shut down. She withdrew from conversations, almost disappeared from the group. That moment carved a lesson deep into me. Gossip is never just talk. It always leaves a scar on someone. The Stoics saw this clearly thousands of years ago. Epictetus once said, "If you hear something, don't repeat it. If it doesn't concern, you don't say it. And best of all, don't even listen. Because every rumor you pass along doesn't just hurt the other person, it makes you smaller in the eyes of everyone watching." So what's the solution? It's simple. Choose conversations that elevate you. Instead of talking about people, talk about ideas, events, solutions. As the old saying goes, small minds talk about people. Average minds talk about events. Great minds talk about ideas. The question is, which group do you want to belong to? The answer lies in the choices you make every single day. There's a habit almost all of us have been guilty of. It seems harmless. Sometimes it even looks like enthusiasm. But in truth, it's one of the silent poisons that slowly destroys the respect people have for us. Habit number 2, interrupting. Here's the thing. When we cut someone off, whether by accident or on purpose, we send an unspoken message. What I have to say matters more than what you're saying right now. We never say those words out loud, but people feel them. And if it happens again and again, they begin to believe it. They stop feeling heard. They stop feeling respected. I learned this lesson the hard way. Early in my career, I was eager to prove myself. In every meeting, I jumped in to add a point, to correct someone, to argue. I thought it showed quick thinking. I thought it showed skill. Until one day, my manager pulled me aside. She looked me in the eye and said a line I'll never forget. "You're always ready to talk, but rarely ready to listen." That hit me like lightning, because she was right. I wasn't truly listening. I was just waiting for my turn to speak. And in doing so, I lost something priceless, the ability to truly understand. The Stoics knew this thousands of years ago. Epictetus reminded us we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we may listen twice as much as we speak. It sounds obvious, but it's the foundation of wisdom. From that day forward, I practiced what I call Stoic listening. Whenever I felt the urge to interrupt, I took a deep breath and asked myself, does this really need to be said right now? Or can I wait until they finish? That one small shift changed everything. People began to see me as calmer, more balanced, and most importantly, worthy of their respect. Interrupting might seem small, but intentional silence, patience, true listening, that's where real strength lies. And in a world where everyone is fighting to be heard, the one who listens will always be the one most trusted and most respected. There's a subtle trap many of us fall into. Habit number 3, showing off too much. We brag about achievements. We talk endlessly about ourselves. We try to impress in every conversation. We think it will earn us recognition. But in reality, it backfires. People don't see your true strength. They only see your hunger for approval. I used to do this myself. Every chance I got, I talked about the projects I led, the results I achieved, the effort I put in. But over time, I noticed something in people's eyes. They nodded. They smiled. But deep down, they had stopped listening. They felt I wasn't sharing to connect. I was sharing to prove my worth. And that turned my image into something hollow, a shiny shell with no depth. Stoic philosophy teaches us something very different. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Be content to be good, and let others talk of you as they will." What he meant is simple. True value doesn't come from your words. It comes from the way you live, from consistency in your actions. Think about it. The people who leave the deepest impression are often the most humble. They don't boast. They don't try to prove themselves. Their calmness, their quiet confidence becomes their magnet. On the other hand, the more someone tries to show off, the easier it is to see the insecurity hiding beneath the surface. So what's the solution? It's simple. Let your actions speak louder than your words. Instead of telling people what you've done, focus on how you contribute, how you support, how you live each day. Consistency tells a story far louder than any speech. And remember, this humility doesn't mean fading into the background. Humility is strength, the most enduring kind of strength. Because sooner or later you won't need to say a word. The way you live will tell your story, and others will speak of you with genuine respect. We've all complained about the weather, about work, about traffic, even about the little annoyances of everyday life. And yes, complaining can feel like a release valve. It gives you relief for a moment. But the problem begins when complaining becomes a habit. Habit number 4, when it turns into part of your identity. Have you noticed when someone who always complains walks into a room, the air suddenly feels heavy? They don't even have to say much. Just a few negative words are enough to drain all the positive energy around them. And over time, people start to pull away. Not because they hate you, but because being near you feels exhausting. I've been there myself. There was a season when I complained about everything. If it rained, I complained. If it was hot, I complained. If someone made a mistake, I replayed it in my head for days. Until one day, a friend looked me straight in the eye and said, "It seems like nothing is ever good enough for you." At first, I was defensive, but those words echoed in my mind. And then it hit me. He was right. I had gotten used to playing the victim, and in doing so, I gave up my greatest power, the power to choose my attitude. The Stoics taught us, don't complain about reality. If you can change it, act. If you can't, accept it. Complaining won't stop the rain. It won't make traffic move faster. It won't make people kinder. But it will weigh down your mind, and it will push others away. So what's the alternative? It's simple: turn complaints into action, lessons, or gratitude. If you don't like your environment, change it. If you make a mistake, learn from it. If there's nothing you can do, take a deep breath and let it go. You'll notice your mind becomes lighter. You'll radiate positive energy, and that calm presence will draw people closer and earn you their respect. Of all the habits that silently destroy respect, habit number 5 may be the most dangerous, being unreliable. Because when your word loses value, you lose value with it. Think about the last time someone promised you something. I'll be there. I'll help you. I'll change. But when the moment came, they disappeared. How did it feel? Disappointing, frustrating, a loss of trust. And deep down, you told yourself, I can't rely on them. I know this because I've been on the other side. My close friend Emily spent weeks planning her birthday. She decorated, made the guest list, prepared every little detail, and me, I promised her without hesitation I won't miss it. But on that day, I got caught up in something else. I showed up late, sent a rushed text. She replied politely, but coldly, and I knew. I hadn't just missed a party. I had missed a piece of her trust. And from that day, our friendship was never quite the same. Seneca once wrote, "Nothing is more valuable than the commitment of a person of integrity." The Stoics saw honor and trust as priceless, because you can be talented, you can be intelligent, you can even be charismatic. But if you don't follow through on your word, all of it becomes meaningless. So how do you rebuild trust? Not with fancy promises, but with small, consistent actions. Show up on time. Respond when you said you would. Be honest about your limits. If you can't do it, say no from the start. If something unexpected happens, communicate early and with respect. People don't expect perfection. They expect consistency. And in the workplace, unreliability is even more dangerous. You can be gifted. You can be full of ideas. But if you constantly fail to deliver, you'll be quietly cut out of important opportunities. Because at the end of the day, respect is built on trust. And trust is built when your words and your actions move in the same direction. One of the defining moments for respect is how you face mistakes. And sadly, many people choose the wrong path. Habit number 6, avoiding responsibility. They blame circumstances. They stay silent to avoid conflict. They make excuses instead of facing the truth. It feels safe. But every time you run from responsibility, you lose credibility. People stop seeing you as dependable. They see you as someone unwilling to own their actions. And when that pattern repeats, your image collapses. I remember one of my first projects. There was a serious mistake in the report, and instead of owning it, I stayed quiet, hoping it would go unnoticed. But it didn't. When the error came out, my colleagues were disappointed, and my boss said a line I'll never forget. Everyone makes mistakes, but no one respects those who run from them. In that moment, I realized silence isn't strength. It's weakness. The Stoics reminded us your value isn't measured by avoiding mistakes, but by how you rise after them. Because mistakes are part of life. No one is perfect, but courage, the courage to admit, to find solutions, to move forward, that's what earns true respect. So how do you change? Start with honesty. Say the words, "This was my fault." Then shift to solutions instead of excuses. And finally, take the lesson so it doesn't happen again. The truth is, it's not your failure that defines you. It's the way you stand back up. And often those moments of accountability make people trust you more than ever. Remember this: avoiding responsibility may protect you in the short term, But taking responsibility is what brings long-term respect. Sometimes just one simple phrase, "I take responsibility," is enough to turn disappointment into admiration. There's one habit that looks small, but carries devastating power. Habit number 7, a lack of self-control. Because when we let emotions dictate our actions, respect leaves us faster than with any other mistake. Think back. Have you ever lost your temper in a meeting, only to regret the words that came out of your mouth? Or maybe you let a bad mood spill over onto your family, your co-workers. One moment of anger, one careless outburst, and the consequences can last for months, even years. People start to keep their distance. They wonder when you'll explode again. And once they lose their sense of safety around you, respect disappears. I've lived this myself. Once over a small error at work, I snapped. I raised my voice at a colleague, and in that moment I felt a rush of relief, as if I'd won. But when the anger faded, I noticed the change in their eyes. The trust was gone. All that was left was fear and hesitation. And that's when I learned losing control for 1 minute can destroy the image you've built for years. The Stoics taught a powerful truth. You cannot control the world, but you can always control your response. Epictetus said it best. It's not the events themselves that hurt us. It's how we react to them. And our reaction reveals who we really are. So what's the solution? It's simple, but not easy. Self-observation and the pause. Before reacting, take a deep breath. Ask yourself, is this worth losing my peace over? Most of the time, the answer is no. Those who master themselves don't need loud words to prove it. Their calm, their composure. That alone commands respect. And in a world full of chaos, self-control is not just strength. It's the mark that sets you apart. Remember this. You can't control everything, but you can always control yourself. And that is the foundation of lasting respect. We've walked this journey together, and now it's time to look back. 7 silent habits that destroy respect, habits we repeat every day, often without noticing. Gossip. It looks harmless, but it cuts trust to pieces. Unreliability. It makes your words worthless. Interrupting it reveals impatience and ego. Complaining, it spreads negativity and pushes people away. Showing off, it creates a shallow image without real depth. Avoiding responsibility, it strips away your credibility. Lack of self-control, it lets emotions drive your actions and makes people keep their distance. But these habits are not a life sentence. We can change. And Stoic philosophy shows us the path: self-discipline, integrity, intentional listening, and constructive action. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." I believe the same is true for respect. Lasting respect comes from being different than the crowd. Not different to boast, but different to bring trust, peace, and presence into every relationship. So ask yourself, which of these 7 habits do you recognize in yourself, and are you ready to change it? Because the journey of building respect doesn't start with others. It starts with you. This is my call to you. Be brave enough to recognize, commit to change. And together, let's build a community of growth where each of us chooses to become the most trustworthy version of ourselves. And finally, remember this: you are responsible for the energy you bring into the world. Bring positivity. Bring trust. Bring the kind of presence that makes people respect you, even when you don't say a single word.